Welcome to another edition of Black Star Still Rising.
Yeah.
My name is Othello Owen, and I am your host. Today we have a special guest in our studios. However, before we get to our special guest, in honor and memory of Brother Philip Jackson, the founder and CEO of Black Star. He founded Black Star in 1996. Black Star is an educational nonprofit organization located in the Bronzeville neighborhood in Chicago. Black Star is located at 3509 South King Drive, and the number for Black Star is 312-662-3106. And that is our executive producer, Stephen Carter, aka Black Butterfly. He is the go-to guy for Black Star, and he is the go-to guy for Black Star Still Rising.
Amen.
Today, we have in our studios the Reverend Damon Smith, who is the outreach director for the Chicago Football Classic. Before we get into that, I have to say this. Those who control the education of the children control the future of the race. The mission statement of the Chicago Football Classic is a non-for-profit organization whose mission is to inspire African American high school and college students through support for programs, initiatives, and events that increase awareness of opportunities to achieve educational excellence. Chicago Football Classic events influences students and parents to consider the rich academy and cultural opportunities offered by historical Black colleges and universities. And I see, my good brother, you are wearing something from a historical Black college. In fact, not just a historical Black college, the college that we went to, which is
Morehouse College.
Morehouse College, my brother. So welcome to the show. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. We want to talk about the Chicago Classic. I mean, it's what, you said 25 years?
This is the 25th game of the Chicago Football Classic that started in 1997. Yes, sir. We are back. We are back.
Well, but let's get a little history.
Okay.
Why did it start? How did it start? I mean, who sat down and said, hey, let's have a football game?
Oh, absolutely. Well, we can thank Mr. Larry Huggins from Right Way Huggins Construction. We can thank Mr. Everett Rand from Midway Wholesalers. And we can also thank Mr. Timothy Rand, his brother, who runs the concessions out of Midway and O'Hare airports. Those three gentlemen who, education has always been very important to them, sat down and realized, you know what, we need to bring HBCUs to Chicago, Illinois for our CPS students primarily, to expose them to HBCUs and let them know that there are educational opportunities at the HBCUs across the country, and they can attend those schools and play sports and get scholarships and do all the things that they could do if they were attended like a U of I or Northern or Western, but they could go to an HBCU like a Morehouse or a Spelman or a Clark. And they got together in 1997 and brought a football game to Chicago out of the South for the HBCU experience.
So now, for those that don't know, what does HBCU stand for?
HBCUs, I'm glad you asked, stands for Historically Black Colleges and Universities.
Okay, and why is the Classic so important?
The Classic is so important because the name of the organization is quite long, but this tells you why it's so important. It's the Chicago Football Classic Scholarship Foundation. Those last two words, Scholarship Foundation. The football game, the Classic, and all the other events all raise money for scholarships to send our students out of Chicago to HBCUs across the country.
So this Classic is here in Chicago.
Yes.
It's not anywhere else.
Not anywhere else.
And it's to raise money for Chicago students.
Chicago students, that's correct.
That's
right.
That's fantastic. Now, why did you go to a HBCU?
Well, my daddy said, you can go to any school you want to, but my money is going to Morehouse.
Okay.
And my father was a proud Morehouse College alum. He graduated from Morehouse College, and it was always my dream. I was born to go to Morehouse College. And I did attend Morehouse College. But unfortunately, I did not was not able to graduate. I had to come back home to take care of some family responsibilities.
Well, that's what a Morehouse man does.
That's right.
Now, Was Morehouse ever in this classic?
Morehouse has been in this classic 4 times, and I'm proud to say they are 3-1 in the football classic. In fact, one of my favorite games is the how do we say, academic and athletic tutoring that we provided to Central State University when I first joined the Classic.
When did you join the organization?
I joined the Classic 12 years ago when Morehouse College first came. And yes, I still wear the Morehouse College colors in honor of my father and because I still love the institution. And when I heard that Morehouse was coming to be in the Football Classic, I called the Football Classic office and asked, do you all need someone to assist with marketing, promotions, and outreach? And they said, yes, Damon, come throw a presentation together, because I knew the Rands and some of their staff. And I put a presentation together for the Rands and Mr. Huggins and some of their staff members, and I've been working with the Classic ever since.
So you found a job for yourself.
Yes, sir.
That's what a Morehouse man does.
Yes, sir.
You identify a problem and you provide the solution.
That is correct.
All right. Any famous players ever come out of this classic that we would know of that our viewing audience would be familiar with?
Well, this year we have Mississippi Valley State playing Central State out of Ohio. So we have some great alums of those two institutions coming. We have out of Mississippi Valley State, an alum would be the Hall of Fame wide receiver, Jerry Rice.
Ah.
Yes. And someone he played against, actually, coming from Central State, Hugh Douglas, defensive end and tackle, famously with the Philadelphia Eagles. But another proud Central State graduate is Arsenio Hall. And for my more senior graduates, they may recognize this other name. Nancy Wilson is a proud graduate of Central State University.
Yes, Central State, they have a very strong and active alumni,
Yes, they
here
do.
in Chicago. So now let's get into the heart of the matter. Is it because you're an HBCU, you automatically get invited? Or is there some type of criteria, some type of ranking that you have to have in order to be considered for the Chicago Football Classic?
Well, the teams are selected based on their schedules. And now for the first time, we are actually having the game this year, Labor Day weekend. Saturday, September 2nd at Soldier Field will be the Chicago Football Classic. So once we secured the date, we looked at what schedule of teams would be available to come to Chicago to play their game. And we found a great competition between Mississippi Valley State and Central State University, two schools that have deep roots here in the Chicago area, because almost everyone knows somebody from Mississippi in Chicago, and Central State has a great pipeline in Ohio from CPS students attending their school.
Well, that's true, and I know that prior to the event, there is a college fair.
Yes. So the game starts at 3 o'clock, but everyone needs to be at Soldier Field starting at 9 a.m. There's an HBCU college fair where we will have HBCUs from across the country in attendance who may do admissions on the spot and also do scholarships on the spot. They will commit. If individuals bring their transcripts or their resumes or their records from high school, we have seen students get accepted to college on the spot at the college fair. And then after the college fair, we have the high school battle of the bands out there in the Soldier Field lot. So we have high schools from across the city of Chicago and suburbs coming to compete before the actual game starts. And then the game, of course, starts with the halftime battle of the bands between Central State and Mississippi Valley State.
And that's the drum line.
That will include the drum lines, absolutely.
Yes. So now let me ask you this now. So at the college fair, you mean it's possible to be admitted on the spot?
Yes.
So how would our viewing audience get this information? How can they reach you to find out more about this fantastic opportunity? I mean, how many HBCUs are going to be at the college fair?
Sure. We roughly have between 20 and 30 HBCUs at the college fair. We also have BMO Harris Bank, one of our principal sponsors at the college fair, to talk about financing college for the parents and also financial awareness and responsibility for students once they go away to college, and talking about credit reports and should they get lines of credit or a credit card and things of that nature. So it is a fully encompassing event for the college fair. So we have 20 20 to 30 schools attending. We have the B. More Harris Bank Financial Seminar there at Soldier Field before the game starts. If individuals would like to have information about these great events, they need to go to www.chicagofootballclassic.org. I'll say it again, chicagofootballclassic.org. That is our website, or they can call 773-874-8000 and press extension 4025.
Now, should folks register for this event? Do they need to make an RSVP?
I would definitely let us know that you're coming and how many. Because when the College Fairs opens its doors, there are troves of students in schools, busloads that are coming. So we want to make sure that the schools that are coming have enough materials to give all the students who are coming to attend the event.
Okay, so is there a limit capacity?
No, sir, because it goes from 9 till 12, so it's 3 hours long. So we don't run out, we don't limit how many people can come, but we want to make sure that we have enough materials and advisors and counselors on site to handle all the students who do arrive.
Well, I think this would be imperative for those parents who are interested in sending your child to an HBCU. Here's an opportunity to explore, speak to, and talk to representatives from 20 to 30 HBCUs all in one place. So that's a unique opportunity. So please, let's take advantage of this.
Absolutely.
And, I'll say once again, education is our salvation. Education is for everyone. The more that we learn, the more of a legacy that we can add to. So now let me ask you this now. Why football and not basketball?
Wow. Well, see, that is a very interesting question. The HBCU Classic experience is built around football in the South. It's built around homecoming games out of the South.
Stop. Homecoming. You said something there that took me back. So, okay. So now, did any of these guys go to an HBCU?
No, sir, they did not.
However, you don't have to go to an HBCU to experience a homecoming at an HBCU.
Not at all.
It's a phenomenal event. It's a life-changing event, a life-altering event.
Absolutely.
And that old magical thing that we call tailgating is just phenomenal. Memories cherished forever.
Forever. And the other part of it is, Othel, as you know, you've been to many homecomings. It is a great time for alums and current students to go back home to their institutions or come to the Classic and reconnect with their institutions that they love and hold dear to their hearts. The other thing is there are great networking opportunities. You get to meet individuals who are in various fields and professions and have various expertise that you can do business with. You can hire as consultants or contractors, laborers. You have organizations that are there and available to sell your goods and services to. So it's not just about fun, even though it is a ball. Yeah. It's also a lot of business being done as well. So it's a great way to build your networks so you can provide those business opportunities for HBCU alums going forward.
And just that, to reminisce, to connect, and to understand the power of these organizations, the power of these schools. Now, so it's been, 25 years?
25 years.
3 years was during the pandemic. Yeah. What happened with the Classic during that pandemic? What were you guys thinking about? What were you talking? Was that going to be the end of it? Apparently not, but what was going on during those 3 years that we were off?
Well, during those 3 years when there was no game, because schools were not even traveling, they didn't even have teams at that time, Mr. Rand, Mr. Huggins, and Mr. Rand still collected funds, still did fundraising. They still raised money? They still raised money, and they still gave scholarships away in the guise of tuition assistance or laptop computers or things of that nature to students who are on their way to HBCUs. Those laptop computers came in very handy because during those 2.5, 3 years, a lot of students had to go online to go to college. They never left the city of Chicago, but they still had to go online for their classes. And those laptops that those three gentlemen fundraised for helped many students enter college and become very successful students while they were matriculated as we had to do during COVID. And so they did not stop. Because as I thought about it, you asked me for a Philip Jackson story. If Black Star Project started in 1996, The Classic started in 1997. So I'm sure there are some conversations between Mr. Jackson, Mr. Rand, and Mr. Huggins about what we can do to increase the educational opportunities for our CPS students.
Yes, because Brother Jackson believed that those who control the education of our children control the future of the race.
Absolutely.
And his famous motto was educate or die.
That's right.
And when he said it, it was sending goosebumps up me. So how do students become connected to the Classic in order to be recipients of these scholarships? Or does it come from the school? How does this work?
So in order to apply for scholarships, again, you will go to our website, www.chicagofootballclassic.org, and the scholarship application is online. So that is the process to get started. Students from the Chicago CPS and Chicago area high schools can go online and apply for scholarships on the website.
If you're just tuning in, you're tuned into Black Star Still Rising. And we have Reverend Damon Smith, the Outreach Director for the Chicago Football Classic Scholarship Foundation, here with us today, giving us information about the Classic coming up when?
Saturday, September 2nd, 2023 at Soldier Field.
And he's talking about the college fair where they're going to have, 20
to 30 HBCUs there. Many of them are doing admissions or scholarships on the spot.
So you don't want to miss out. It's enough time for you to make arrangements to be there. This is something that happens once a year, and it's an opportunity for you, for the family, and for your children to be exposed to this opportunity in one location. So now, okay, let me ask you this, though. What were some of the best games? What were some of the best games? I remember a few, but I'm sure you remember some more. Share that with us, please, if you will.
Well, some of the best games, and unfortunately, there was one very good game that Morehouse did not come out on top, but it was the Morehouse and Howard game that happened about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago.
I remember
those
that.
two epic HBCUs who have always had a very, let's just say, interesting relationship to one another.
Yes, yes.
Howard did prevail. However, the camaraderie of the HBCUs, the camaraderie between Morehouse and Howard alums and the students, current alums and current students, was just fabulous. And it was one of the best games that we've had at the Classic within the last decade or so. Another great one was when we had Jeremiah perform at the halftime show. Now, many of a certain age may not know who Jeremiah is, but he is a Chicagoan who was an R&B sensation at the time. He was like in the top 10 of hip-hop and R&B artists, and he performed the halftime show. That was amazing to have him open up the Battle of the Bands show. So we've had some great experiences at the HBCU, with the HBCU experience at the Chicago Football Classic, and we're looking to build even more because it's more than the game. It is the college fair. It's the high school Battle of the Bands. It's the vendors opportunity fair. It of course is the game. It's the college Battle of the Bands. So there are. And it's Labor Day weekend in Chicago.
Don't forget the tailgating.
Oh, don't forget the tailgating.
It's like homecoming almost.
It is exactly like homecoming.
Yes. So okay, here we are. Here we are, 2023. Put your visionaries on in 10 years from now. What's the Classic doing? Is the Classic still here? Are you still with the Classic?
Yes, and yes. I will still be with the Classic. I love what the organization is doing. I love its goals. I love its missions. And I'm committed to sending as many CPS kids to HBCUs as possible with scholarships. That's what we're here to do.
Well, is there talk of doing this in other cities, other towns, or just Chicago?
There are other Classics throughout the country. None do it like Chicago does. None do it like Chicago. First of all, it's Chicago, right? That's number one. Number two, it's Labor Day weekend in Chicago. No one can beat that. Three, it's a party week, right? It is a party week. So we are looking forward to putting on a great show this Labor Day week and weekend for the Chicago Football Classic and the HBCU experience.
Well, you're pretty adamant about this. You all got me all hyped up here. So personally, from you, what drives you to do this? Why is this instilled in your soul?
Wow. Well, see, that goes back to my years of being a college professor at Columbia College here in Chicago. I was a college professor there for 15 years, and there's a look, and many of us have seen that look, when you're talking to a student, and the student can be anyone who's trying to learn, and when you see it click that they've gotten it, they've gotten the concept, they got the idea, they got the formula, they have figured it out, there's nothing like that look. And there are so many of those looks that many of our students do not have the opportunity to receive because they don't know how they can afford college. HBCUs are an affordable choice, not alternative, choice for a quality education to still participate in athletics and academics, to still do research, to write those dissertations, to get those advanced degrees, to change the world through an HBCU as an HBCU student and alum. And I am committed to doing everything I can to make that happen.
Can I go back again? Because you just fired me up. You know?
Yes, sir.
I mean, my days at Morehouse were fantastic. They gave me the opportunity to meet people from all over the world. And these were black people, brown people, yellow people, blue people.
And women.
Well, we didn't get to that yet. The Spelman is right across the street.
Right across the street.
And they come from all over the world. Well, we have a few minutes left, so I want to ask you that now the Classic is here, all right? What else are you guys doing? I think you got a golf outing, you've got tennis or...
Yes, it's a softball game.
Softball. Okay, please tell our viewing audience these other things that the Classic is doing.
So on the Friday before the Classic, we will have a golf outing, which is another fundraiser for many of our corporate sponsors and anyone who has a foursome to come out and actually win the Chicago Football Classic Golf Trophy. And, of course, bragging rights with that trophy. So we are finalizing those details now. Again, that will be on the website, chicagofootballclassic.org. And we are also doing an HBCU softball tournament that same weekend. So we're going to have HBCU alums who are already here in the city of Chicago.
Now, wait a minute. You said softball.
Softball.
Is that the clincher or that with the glove? Because, you know, in Chicago, plays softball with the 16-inch clincher.
Yeah, it'll be with the clincher.
Oh, boy, that's really Chicago.
It's real Chicago softball. And we'll be out there. HBCUs are gathering their teams together now, and they're going to start practicing to get ready for their bragging rights for the HBCU Softball Classic. There is also going to be a Greek step show during that same week. So I can just say, pretty much come June 1st, look for the full schedule for the Chicago Football Classic events at chicagofootballclassic.org.
One more time.
chicagofootballclassic.org.
Well, the years that I've attended have been phenomenal memory-making opportunities. Naturally, we Morehouse guys, we get together and we celebrate.
Yes.
And we all know other folks from other HBCUs.
Yes.
And the camaraderie is outstanding as we're in the skybox chit-chatting and making wagers about our favorite teams, and even more so about the bands. I mean, the talent is phenomenal.
Yes.
The HBCU school college bands is unlike any other. And the drum line, you can't beat that drum line.
Not at all.
Once again, if you're tuning in, this is Black Star Still Rising.
Yes.
And we have the Reverend Damon Smith, the Outreach Director for the Chicago Football Scholarship Classic Foundation. How can people support HBCUs? Tell our viewing audience.
Well, I hate to be redundant. Go to www.chicagofootballclassic.org, and there is a donate button. On the website, you are free to make as many donations as you would like. Corporations, especially those who have matching donating programs and policies, please go to the website and make your donations there. You may also call the Chicago Football Classic at 773-874-8000, extension 4025. You can go to those websites. You can go to the website. You can make that phone call. What if you want to buy tickets for 100 students to go? You can do that. Or if you want to help contribute to the laptops or the other scholarships or gifts for the students who attend the program and apply, you can do both of those things. So please go to our website, give the office a phone call, and make your donations known.
Well, we want to thank you for bringing this information to us. I want to thank our executive producer, Stephen L. Carter, better known as Black Butterfly. And I am your host, Othel Owen, and you've been tuning in to Black Star Still Rising. Until next time, you are the Black Star that's still rising.